Don't you miss me? Just a little?
All right, let's get ready to get start. First, I need to get some water.
I'm not as bad as I look. Really. Stop walking away!
Okay. Actually, forgot to fix this. What level is this gem I'm working on? 55. I don't know why that came up. Oh, good. I just somehow got pop of the doodad. No idea how or why. Ah, crap! I didn't realize there were 3 ice things stuck on top of each other.
I must wait. I must wait.
Yeah, this build I think has reached its limit. Can't kill quickly enough.
Not enough essence.
Good news is I got plenty of other builds to push greater rifts with. Come on. Give me some kills. Oh, that's pretty bad. Now I have to wait for my cooldowns to come back.
That needs to recharge. I must wait.
Oh, come on. What the heck just hit me?
I must wait. Your death nears. That needs to
Nope. Come on, kill him. Or I could just die. So let's get something playing.
Hello, everybody. Stan Molyneux from Free Domain Radio. Hope you're doing well. Please don't forget to sign up for our new email subscription list. And please, please, please donate at freedomainradio.com/donate.
Guess I do have to use headphones.
Tonight. And
Mike's picking it up too well.
It's been on my mind a lot lately. It's great when listeners articulate my own inner thoughts. The caller wanted to know that, a lot of people are sympathizing with Christianity as a means of saving the West from its potential fate. Do I find this remotely reasonable or possible? It's a great question. Second caller, enamored of entrepreneurship, loves the entrepreneurial life. I'm not sure that the love is entirely reciprocated for reasons that you'll see in the conversation. The third caller, well, he's having trouble finding a girlfriend, and he was fat as a child and remains somewhat fat as an adult, and trying to figure out what is really going on proved to be quite a rabbit hole, and very, very interesting call. I think you'll find it most powerful. And the fourth caller, and this is a question that a lot of people are asking or thinking about at the moment, what is a nation? What does it mean to have a nation, to be a nation? What does it mean to be part of a nation? Open borders versus national pride versus xenophobia versus patriotism versus survival versus being overrun. These are all very interesting questions, and I've, of course, had significant thoughts on these over the years, so I share where my thinking is at the moment and why. I hope that you enjoy the show. I love that I get to do these shows, and I really appreciate everyone's kindness and support, and here we go.
All right, well, up first today we have
Didn't
Jacob.
ask-
Jacob wrote in and said,
Didn't ask for donations.
We are, as we can easily observe, in a dying post-Christian era. Where do you see the future of ethics coming from in order to maintain a functioning society? It is clear atheism is statistically aligned with leftism in all its cancers. However, I've noticed many in the new right, alt-rights, and general nationalist camps sympathize with Christianity as a means of saving the West. Do you find this remotely reasonable, and, if so, do you ever consider we advocate for moral/biblical propaganda in order to keep those unable to retain the West without unproven dogma in check?
Jesus Christ, it's
Is
a
that
loaded
means of
question.
control, but in a positive way? Your thoughts? That's from Jacob.
Hey Jacob, how you doing?
My sanity is intact for the moment, so let us hope that it remains that way for the duration of this conversation.
What?
It's a hallmark card reading I haven't heard before, but see, things are simple for me. I'm a simple man with a simple plan. I don't have to worry about all of this sort of stuff. I don't have to worry about outcomes or strategy or anything like that. Should we align with this? Should we do this? Should we do that? I only have to worry about what is true and what is false. Now, the question is, if there's a lie that will save the world, should you speak it? And this was Plato's big question after he saw Socrates put to death by the mob. He began to ask himself, well, maybe, just maybe, we need to
Wait,
start
what?
telling people lies. Because, of course, one of the big challenges of being a thinker and being alive and aware and all these kinds of good things is the basic reality that there are a lot of really stupid people in the world. And I don't mean this as an insult. There are short people in the world, there are ugly people in the world, there are tall people, there are people with lots of hair, there's me, and there are just lots of dumb people in the world. And so Plato had
good.
this question, which was, maybe we just need to tell people a lie. It's a noble
What
lie,
is with
and
this rift? It's
for the
just
cause of
trickle of
goodness.
enemies.
We need to find a way to keep intelligent people safe from the
Tiny
wrong.
corridor, we got a bunch
Free
of
market
flies.
keeps intelligent people safe from dumb
Shit,
people,
fucking
because
rift. I
resources
can't even get
flow
my
to
bone
intelligent
armor up.
people, and they end up with a sense of power and efficacy and influence in society that is proportional to their intelligence. But when you start to get a democracy, which has always and forever been considered a disaster by the intelligent, of course, because you're outnumbered by idiots. So democracy is the lowest common denominator, the shortest time preferences conceivable, taking you for a ride.
I can't see if
devoid
there's
of
junk.
the end of
Yeah,
your
this is
civilization.
just the worst rift ever.
So I mean, I understand, you know, philosophers and thinkers have to live in the world, and we're outnumbered by people who aren't philosophers, who aren't smart, and are so dumb that they don't even know that they're dumb. I mean, nothing breeds humility like intelligence, and nothing breeds arrogance like idiocy. And so,
This is
you know,
the worst
period
rift
people,
ever.
It's just like this, period. You know?
I can't even
If you want
move
free market
because
healthcare,
of all
you
the
want
goop
people
on the
to die in
ground.
streets, period. If you don't like the welfare state, you want people to starve to death, period. If you don't like the welfare state, you hate single moms, period. If you have problems with single mothers, you hate women, period. Like, just stupid stuff. And, you know, occasionally if I'm having a look at YouTube comments, I'll just, like, occasionally I'll respond to one or two if they've got some interesting things to say. But some stuff is just, it's so retarded. Like, I wouldn't even know what to type if you paid me, other than, please
I don't
let
even
me
know what killed me there.
go to the
Literally.
library and read some books if you know how to read. So I don't have to worry about strategy. I don't have to worry about
Yeah,
tactics.
'cause
I
you
don't have to worry about who to
got
align
your head in the
myself
clouds.
with. The
All
only
you do
thing
is
I
sit in
figure
your
out is
room
what is
and
true
talk.
and what is false. Now there is, of course,
You don't have to worry about actually
issue,
doing
which is
anything.
that if you come up with things that are true but are disbelieved by the majority of people, what's the value of that truth? Again, I don't have to worry about that either. The only thing I have to worry about is making sure that my arguments and my evidence are as good as humanly possible. So, you know, I look forward with great eagerness to the day where I can cross swords with Christians, and they're the biggest problem in the world of philosophy. I adore Christians these days because they will let me speak my mind and they will engage with me verbally. They're not big on shooting people or blowing themselves up at Ariana Grande concerts, and they're not big on passing laws that force me to obey their whims, and they're not big on publishing
I'm not big on getting one shot over and over.
And I don't have any problem.
But there's not much I can do in this rift. It's a terrible rift.
As worthy allies against larger challenges to the kind of life that both I and Christians want. I would rather have a Christian who believes in free will than a leftist determinist atheist on my side, because the leftist determinist atheist will simply stab you in the back for the sake of momentary approval and free stuff.
Ah, I couldn't get through quickly enough.
I would rather have people believe in God than believe in the state, the Christian God. And because if they believe in the Christian God, it's live and let live. If they believe in state, it's that's sort of my first thought and first response. Let me know what you think.
Well, you're very well spoken as usual, Mr. Monk.
I don't even know what just happened. Poison cloud? What is
Several
that?
Points that I was hoping you would amuse me with that perhaps
You know what?
could,
Never mind.
hit,
Let's
a few of
just...
these points in order to capture.
I'm gonna forfeit that 50 million gold.
If we may. As usual.
Is this guy for real? I cannot listen to a guy that speaks like this.
State, it's first.
As usual, Mr. Molyneux. Well, you're very well spoken as.
Mr. Molyneux. Look at that, I'm naked because I died so many times in that shit rift. That was the worst rift I've ever seen. Impossible to get anything going in that rift.
Fortune favors the bold.
Well, we're not going to empower it because apparently 75 isn't a guaranteed deal when you get shift rifts.
I must wait.
Like, this is a rift I can deal with. I can actually... There's actually gameplay that can be had here because I can move and play my character. I can't actually play my character in that previous level with that setup of enemies. That set of enemies, it's impossible to do anything. Did I go the wrong way here? Sweet. When you can't move, you can't even see what's killing you because the space is so tight and it's all down to your toughness. That's just bull. That's just bullshit. Woo! Hitting for half a trillion. I can't get out of walls with this particular build. Yeah, I can't get out of walls. Got no way to get out of walls. Nope, not gonna hit me with your stupid darts. You're gonna maybe hit someone else, but not me. Went the wrong way as usual. What happened? What happened? When I don't have bone armor up, I just get one shot by anything. Where the heck am I going? hate the way the Rift Guardians spawn in this area.
Usual, Mr. Molyneux. I had several points that I was hoping you would amuse me with that perhaps we could hit
Amuse,
a few of these
perhaps.
points in order to encapsulate the entirety of my
Encapsulate
question,
entirety.
if we may.
If we
One
may.
You got
question.
an interesting way of talking there, my friend.
That's what I was thinking. Like, nobody talks like that. Actually, I think I'd rather he had Woodward than Oculus. Got an interesting way of talking. Oh, shit. 917. 859, that's garbage. Garbage Pestilence Mask. An interesting way of talking there. Encapsulate. Holy shit. You don't use that in conversation, dude. Unless you're talking about object-oriented programming.
That is too expensive.
Alright. Let's go back to the beginning.
It sounds like comments. So we need to heard before, but
We can easily.
Over the years that I get to do the
All right. Well.
kindness and support, and here
Mike's
we
clipping
go.
the hell out of his mic.
All right. Well, up first today we have Jacob. Jacob wrote in and said, "Given we are as well." Up first today we have. All right. Well, up first today we have Jacob. Jacob wrote in and said, "Dog way,
So,
hey Jacob, how you doing?
positive way."
Hey, Ice Wolf, welcome.
That's from Jacob.
Hey Jacob. Hey Jacob, how you doing?
my sanity is intact for the moment, so
My sanity is intact for the moment. What kind of a way to greet someone is that?
let us hope that it remains that way for the duration of this
Let us hope it remains that way for the duration of this phone conversation.
conversation.
Well, that's a hallmark card greeting I haven't heard before, but
Oh, shit. Holy shit.
Very well spoken as you.
Alright,
Well, you're very well spoken as usual, Mr. Molyneux.
Mr. Molyneux.
I had several points that I was hoping you would amuse me with that perhaps we could hit a few of these points in order to encapsulate the entirety of my question, if we may.
If we may.
you got an interesting way of talking there, my friend. It sounds like you're reading the script from a Count Chocula audition.
Get some weirdos calling into your show.
I'm just wondering if you noticed that or not.
I have some odd quirks.
I have some odd quirks, especially when it comes to my vocal patterns when I pontificate upon subjects of great importance. But if you will, forgive me my annoyance at your bemusement at the tranquility of my perseverance. I will indeed, it will indeed suffice to continue this conversation on more equitable terms.
I mean, I will say.
That or not.
I have
Count
some odd,
Chocula?
quirks about.
What is Count Chocula? I gotta look up Count Chocula. I have no idea what that is. Count Chocula cereal? Count Chocula meme. I don't know what he meant by Count Chocula. It's just a cereal cartoon character.
Don't be shy.
Alright. Let's continue.
I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I have some odd quirks about me, I will say. Even the way in which I speak.
It's not a problem. I just didn't want it to pass unnoticed or unremarked upon. It's nothing you have to correct. It's just...
No, correct it, bitch. Correct it.
It's an interesting way of communicating. But go on.
I'm very self-aware, actually. It's a very good thing. I wanted to see, though it is a boring question, but I had my thoughts that I cannot say I've really heard anybody else discuss. The first one is I wanted to see why is atheism so well aligned with leftism? Now, it is
hello, new boss.
Is aligned quite well with leftism and its cancerous traits, postmodernism, and Marxism and all its heights and shades, but it seems to me...
I just hope I don't get killed by mortar.
...that Christ is taking his final breaths and shall die out. From my observations, it seems to be this way. Obviously, things could change. Whether that is good or bad, I do not know yet. But you and a lot of other individuals have a hypothesis that I would say holds a lot of weight and substance.
I wish I could see the fan's face as this guy speaks.
They do not derive their ethics, their code of conduct or morality from religion. So they now turn to the state. And I was wanting to know if you had any other views on why that is, other than they need to derive their ethics from somewhere. I had my thoughts on this, actually, but I wanted to see what you may have to divulge. That might not be, I guess, what is typically said. Is that, again, do you think there's anything else there?
What fucking ethics do atheists have? What standards?
I'm stuck.
Standards do they have? The fuck are atheist ethics?
I watched part of that video. I couldn't understand it, dude. I'm sorry. Doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I don't play enough Warframe to get it. Maybe I don't watch enough anime.
What are atheist ethics?
Didn't make any sense.
Live and let live, this vague secularism and vague for the good of everyone as best we can. But what the hell do they stand on? Can a brother get a thou shalt not steal? Can a brother get a thou shalt not kill that people are willing to stand on? That they're willing to become discomforted by? Atheists is this general self-testicular massaging, feel-good, everythingism that adds up to nothing whatsoever. Atheism is the crumbling of the West. Because as I said before, atheists ripped down Christian morality, and they damn well should have put up another morality that was absolute. Job one, if you're driving people out of a place of shelter, is to build them a new place of shelter. Otherwise, they're just sitting there in the storm, getting their ass lit up by lightning. And atheists didn't do any of that. Enough with Christian morality, hedonism, government, secularism. What the hell do they stand for? What the fuck does an atheist stand for? I have no idea. Other than snooty superiority. Do they have property rights? Do they have the non-aggression principle? Do they have anti-statism? Do they have anti-violence? Can a brother get an anti-spanking? A little bit more in the atheist community to some degree, but that's partly because they don't have to teach their kids hell and all of that. What do they stand for? What do they stand for?
Oh, he's doing a new quest? Okay.
Well, if they stood against violence, they would be against the state, and they'd recognize that taxation is theft. But they don't do that. So, I don't know what atheists stand for. I certainly don't know what leftists stand for, other than power, control, free resources, short time preferences, and wanting to verbally or physically destroy anyone who gets between them and their free stuff. But as far as atheists go, I mean, you got prominent atheists taking massive amounts of money from the state. You got prominent atheists who hate Donald Trump. Why? Why? Because he's a nationalist? Compared to what? compared to international globalism, which is basically just communism on slow motion. Well, not so slow motion anymore. What do atheists stand for? They stand against God, which makes them useful idiots for people who want to overthrow the West. They stand against Christianity, which make them useful idiots for people who want to overthrow the ethics of Christianity.
Yeah, the game
Christians are
Warframe.
for small government. Atheists are for big government. That's all you need to know. And therefore, atheists are far more dangerous than Christians on average and in general. And please, for God's sakes, don't be a stupid atheist and write to me or write underneath this. Well, I'm an atheist and I'm into small government. Got it. You're just a precious fucking snowflake. You're so special, it's wonderful. The fact that you can't understand statistical averages and that atheists are many, many, many times more likely to support big government and leftist policies than non-atheists. Like, dozens of times more likely. The fact that you know, when people
Ouch, ouch.
and then someone's like, well, I don't fit in.
I couldn't even see that.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. All you're doing is clogging up the works for people trying to get adult work done. You need to go back to the kids' table and stop wasting everyone's time with your stupid emotional defensiveness. So.
Well, that's nicely worded. That's nicely worded. I have something that I'm building to here. I wanted to give my hypothesis, though, on why atheism, if I may, aligns so well with leftism. So,
Come on, be ancient, please. Seriously. How hard is it to get some ancient shoulders up in this motherfucker?
The baby boomer generation. Religion was usually associated with a sort of Bible Belt republicanism. Whether that was Christianity or Mormonism or Catholicism.
That is too expensive.
If you were a Republican, you were religious. Generally speaking, that has been my observation. I think this is a just thing to say.
Damn it.
If you were more on the left side of the political spectrum, even a classical liberal type, chances are you were possibly a moderate religious person. Thus, you did not take your religion too seriously, nor were you unnecessarily judgmental toward others based on dogmatic doctrine to which you derived your morality. Religious households can be oppressive, though obviously things may have changed these days, certainly. But even especially to a child in development stages of their lives, in a very fragile time, it seems that they instill this imagery of hell and roaming devils in a child's mind, which provokes an unhealthy superstition, let alone denies critical thought.
Right, we're pumping it up to 80.
To wrap this point up, when a child grows into their teen years or adult years, depending upon the experience of their religious upbringing, it is possible they'll shun not only their set religion,
Actually, I
but
should
as well
continue
as
using this build.
politically associated with it. That would mean that conservatism is also shunned. And if you have not read Ben Shapiro's book, Primetime Propaganda, it's a fairly decent read. In reading this book, I felt that many people in Hollywood, even those loudmouth leftist types, were also cast aside from the absolute morality dictated by their set religion and holy books. So, what was the cause and effect of that? They attacked using TV as their loaded gun in order to push back against what they saw as a cancerous sore, religion. They may have actually even felt that they were helping liberate other people from this sometimes oppressive belief system. So the point I'm getting to is, when people claim that religion or Christianity will save us, are they so sure about that, and is it so black and white? Because from what I can observe, there has been a severe cultural backlash, and I was wanting to know if you think this holds any
what?
to it. And as
What killed me?
So I think I understand. What you're saying is that atheists associated small government with Christianity, and when they threw out Christianity, they threw out small government. It's the baby with the bathwater thing, right?
That is essentially what I'm saying,
Right.
yes.
So that means that atheists are retarded, emotionally reactive idiots who can't think their way out of a paper bag or reason from first principles to save not only their life, but the life of their entire fucking civilization. Because if you're like, well, that Satanist drives a red car. I don't like Satan, therefore I'm never going to drive a red car. You know, this guy is a sociopath.
Nope.
And he's also really
Ah, it
good
hit
at
me.
using ABC technique as a heart surgeon. Therefore, nobody should ever use ABC technique as a heart surgeon because that guy's a sociopath. I mean, it's stupid. If you're going to reason from first principles, then reason from first principles. If reason is better than faith, and reason is better than force, then you should be for small government because government is force. It's not that complicated. So, but if they're like, well, I just dislike everyone who's Christian and everything that is even remotely or tangentially associated with Christian beliefs. Well, gosh, that must be quite something. Wow, we should bring back slavery, you might say. Because it was Christians who abolished slavery, and I dislike everything to do with Christianity, so let's bomb churches and bring back slavery. Can't wait for that to be taken out of context. So, yeah, you could be right. Maybe it's just all emotionally reactive bullshit. In which case, it just shows you that atheism is an unthought out, emotionally reactive.
Try to avoid that ball.
By leftists to shrink the power
It's
of
tough.
Christianity and grow the power of the state. And they're useful axle greases for the rolling
Damn it.
livestock
It happened.
thunderbolts and trains of state power. So yeah, I mean, you could be right, but it just means that they're not rational. They're just emotionally immature.
Well worded. I did want to add another point to top off this whole thing, if I may. So I was scrolling through YouTube, and there's an individual by the name of Brittany Pettibone. She does a show with Tara McCarthy on YouTube, and she was talking about this thing called shame culture, and how we sort of used to be in that mode of character. I actually did a response to her video myself, but in her video, she suggested that we used to live in a sort of shame
Don't know what killed me.
of a guilt culture based on previous ethics or morality.
That's the problem with getting one shot. You often don't know what just killed you.
And now that we dwell amongst this shameless anything goes culture, we are no longer in some fashion guilted for our sins or even eternal sins. As in,
Yeah, something wrong with him. Nobody talks like this.
The main point that I was marking on is that shame is, in some fashion, is it not a sort of control by sleight of hand, or rather manipulation? And this goes back again to Ben Shapiro's book. But I am curious if
We don't read Ben Shapiro books here, dude.
we are in this cultural mess. If you continuously shun people, or the black sheep, if you will, is it at least possible you could have a fierce sort of revolutionary against what you wish to conserve in the first place? And of course,
Jesus,
you marked
no,
on
we should be shunning the living shit out of people. I've been arguing this for many, many, many years. People don't like it. But look at the left. The left shuns shit out of people. The left publishes hate lists. The left says don't associate with Trump supporters. The left says, yeah, it's fine if you want to divorce your husband if he's a Trump supporter. Yeah, you should disavow and disown and disassociate with people. The left shuns like crazy. Which would be fine, except they're winning. And nobody else is shunning. Oh no, we can't take our beliefs so seriously that we would shun people who disagree with us and want us thrown in prison for exercising our free and voluntary conscience. So I just,
What killed me there?
yeah,
Don't know. Barb lurker.
You have two choices in society. You can have social enforcement, which is shunning, which is disassociating from people who are immoral or evil or acting against your interests. Jesus. What was the statistic? In Washington, D.C., journalists, 96% of them, 96% of them donated to Hillary Clinton.
No, that is not.
Gary Johnson just to watch his tongue move and have him not know where Aleppo is. So 96%. So what that means is that if you're not on the left and you try and get a job in the Washington mainstream media, they will shun the living shit out of you. Go try and be a well-known free marketer and try and get a job at Evergreen College. You know, I mean, just try it. They will shun the living shit out of you. I think it was in that book that Ben Shapiro was talking about how he wrote a script, a television script for The Good Wife, and he was shopping it around and he was getting good feedback from it, and he was going to get a deal for it because he's a
Oh, good. Dropping frames. Let me see if there's anything I can do about that.
People Googled him, and do you remember what they said to him?
Fuck off, essentially.
Yeah, no fucking way I'm hiring you. You're a conservative. You're a free market guy. You're a small government guy. They shunned the living shit out of the guy. So shunning is the way to go. Shunning is the way to go. They're deplorables, racist, sexist, homophobe, Islamophobe, nasty, evil, scum, blah, 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 right? What is that? That's sending up flares to get you to shun people. On Twitter, I posted a question which was there such a thing as a friend zone before the welfare state? And some woman, I can't remember who, was responding and saying, well, women just pretended to be sick when people like you came by. So what's she doing? She's signaling that women should shun me for my views. No eggs for you, heretic. And it's like, okay, so shunning. Shunning. Great. Shun the shit out of people. Don't hire leftists. Don't do it. And you can find them on the resume. Look where they went to school. Look what they took. Look whether they passed or not. Shun.
I can't move.
Out of people. That's how you win. Because the alternative to that is civil war. And I think it would be a lot nicer to shun. And look, we understand that if someone's a pedophile, you should shun them. You shouldn't give them a guest spot on CNN, maybe, huh? If someone is a murderer, should you shun them? If you're going hanging out with someone and you're a teenager and they're shoplifting the crap out of everything, should you hang around with them? What if they offer you illegal drugs? Hey, have some heroin. All the cool kids are doing it.
I can't move, but I'm invincible, so it's okay.
You should. Everyone shuns everyone all the time. You know, every time you don't click on give your internet and banking details up to a Nigerian prince scam artist, you're shunning him. Shun, shun, shun. Shunning is very powerful. Shunning is very powerful. You know, there are religions in the world where leaving them is a death sentence. That's kind of shunny when you think about it. And if I remember rightly, those religions aren't doing necessarily too badly. So, I've returned back to what I said more than a decade ago. You shun, shun, shun. And if you're not willing to do it, then you're just not serious about what you believe.
Right on, right on. There is a second step to this conversation.
You gotta keep this quick though, because your questions are kind of long.
Okay. I do believe that people do still, as far as the atheistic standpoint, this is going to get a little unorthodox for a moment, but bear with me. I am not convinced, of course, that the herd is ready to live a life of reason and logic in order to obtain a full-running, well-rounded society. So they need a doctrine, something to adhere to. I think this is a just thing to say. Now, this is I do not represent these people or or an agent for them. They're very picky about that. But in reading in different,
you're not hastening this along. So I'm going to urge you once more to drop the caveats and get to the point.
Unfortunately, this may have to be the end of our conversation, I'm afraid. And what I was going to was a bit of a whole thing, I'm afraid. I suppose we may have gotten all that we need, I guess, then from this conversation for now.
All right. Well, if it's going to be long, I'm going to have to move on because we've got a lot of callers tonight. But thank you so much for your call. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, up next we have Chris wrote. All right, up next we have Chris wrote in. All right, up next we have Chris wrote in and said.
That was a weird call, man. I feel tripped out.
All right, up next we have Chris wrote in and said, I'm starting a business with a friend of mine, and although we have high hopes, I worry about putting in time, effort, and money only for it to flop.
You didn't want to talk to that guy for too long.
How do you know when it's the right time to give up and move on to something else? That's from Chris.
Hey, Chris. Hey. Holy shit. Well, not right when you're starting. You know, we had 2 dates, but I'm thinking of breaking up with her.
Wait a minute. What is... I didn't even hear his question.
Chris wrote in and said, I'm starting a business with a friend of mine, and although we have high hopes, I worry about putting in time, effort, and money only for it to flop. When do you know it's time to stop? How do you know when it's the right time to give up and move on to something else? That's from Chris.
Hey, Chris. Hey. Holy shit. Well, not right when you're starting. You know, we had 2 dates, but I'm thinking of breaking up with her. Well, that might be a good sign that it's a good thing to do. So you're just starting and you're already thinking about busting it up?
No. I'm not thinking of busting it up.
Okay,
right
I go
now.
to your first statement, I'm starting a business, and to your last, how do you know when it's the right time to give up and move on to something else?
Yeah, that's just a worry that's been sitting in my mind. Cause I talk to him regularly. We have the business. It's actually an LLC now. We have the bank account. We have only sold a couple of things, but we're working on getting a website up.
What did I just do?
And, you know, we like talk and joke sometimes and think of, man, these would be really awesome things to do. And we're still just trying to, get it off the ground.
Oh, I'm feared.
How many hours a week are you putting into it?
Not very many, not as much as I would like to, but...
Oh, for God's sakes, man, just give me a number.
Okay, probably about 5 hours a week.
Oh boy. I'm putting 5 hours a week into my business. Doesn't seem to be taking off.
No, really? I know why it's not taking off. It's because we both work full-time and I'm taking a summer class at a local community college. So that doesn't really breed success in a new business.
Right. So one of the ways that you know you're not serious about it is you're not quitting your job to do it. Nothing concentrates your mind like looming disaster and panic. Right? So if you really cared about it, if you really wanted to do it, you quit your job and you'd say, okay, I've got 3 months of savings. I have to make this work. You know, I mean, it's kind of tough to substitute that kind of urgency with mere abstractions. Sometimes you just need to let the time go.
Well, that floor sucked.
So that your mind becomes rapid and concentrated.
Okay, that makes sense.
And why do you need a partner if it's 5 hours a week?
How do you mean?
Wait, is he doing 5 hours a week too? Why don't you just do 10 hours a week and keep the whole business for yourself?
It was a joint vision, we'll say. It's something that we've both wanted. We're trying to make props and costume parts and stuff and sell that because it's both something that we've loved to do, me for only about a couple years now and him for about 10 to 15 years.
But you don't love to do it. If you love to do it, you'd be doing it for more than 5 hours a week. Like, I don't quite understand. Why are you taking a class if you have a business that you want to start?
Because I want a degree.
How long is it going to take you to get the degree?
Probably another 3 years.
Whoa!
Why don't you just start the business? I mean, I'm not quite sure I understand what your plan is here. If you've got a business that you love, and it's got some potential, listen, as soon as you sold one thing, boom, you're in. You know, as soon as, because, you know, that first sale's a little bit of a doozy. The second one is tough, but the first sale proves the business model to some degree. I remember the very first time I sold a piece of software that I built. It was like, woohoo, I can do it. And then I'm like, getting my way through to being an entrepreneur as much as humanly possible. So if you have a business that you can sell something in, then why would you want to go and get a degree?
Replay Alien Isolation.
Help you.
That game is way too long to replay.
Because if after 3 years you've spent that time building your business, reading...
Once you see it once,
online courses,
that's enough in my
like
opinion.
On your own time kind of thing to figure stuff out, or getting a mentor or someone to help you, an incubator or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you've got way more experience in what you want to do in 3 years of doing the business than you do in listening to some teacher who's not actually a business person telling you how to do it, right?
Yeah.
So why are you doing the class? Why not just start the business?
Oh shit.
Could be a good reason. I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I mean, let me give you an example,
know.
right? Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, right? So I was a software entrepreneur, and I had an opportunity to start a business, and I wanted to do it. Now, if I'd have said, well, I'm going to just work at this business a couple hours a week because I really, really want to go get a computer science degree, what what would have happened? Well, my business opportunity would have dried up, and who knows what had happened by the time I got a computer science degree. But I learned a hell of a lot more about programming computers while I started doing it when I was 11. I learned a hell of a lot more about programming computers by doing it than by studying it. And some of the worst people I ever hired were people with one guy with a computer science PhD, and he was terrible. So, so I, you know, again, I could be missing something, but if you got something you want to do, fucking do it. I mean, what's all this hedging your bets? I got a full-time job. I'm going to school. It's like, why? Why didn't you just go all in for this? You know, I mean, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they all dropped out of college to just pursue their dreams, and I don't think they'd be worth double if they had that degree. Probably be worth very little.
Yeah, well, yeah, then I guess it just comes down to a confidence problem of I'm not confident in it producing even a livable income right off the bat.
Oh, gotta get away from that.
Produces a livable income right off the bat. I mean, do you want to know what my first month's donations were for this show? I'm not even going to tell you, but trust me, it wasn't exactly the 700 club. So yeah, nobody starts off producing income. That's why you panic, and that's why you end up producing great work.
Okay. Well, yeah. God, no, you shut me down fast there.
I'm not trying to shoot you down. I'm trying to build you up.
Yeah.
Of course, you're not going to have confidence doing something you haven't done before.
Yeah.
Someone beat the whole game in under 4 hours on nightmare difficulty.
To be insane.
I really don't
So, of course you're going to have anxiety,
believe that.
of course
I'd
you're
have to
going
see it.
be nervous, and that's good. That means you're going to work harder. It means you're going to dig deeper, push faster, and that's how you outcompete people who are already successful. See, people who are successful get complacent. It's something I have to focus on all the time. What boundaries am I going to push? What new information am I going to get?
You don't push many boundaries on this show.
My entire life going taxation is theft, taxation is theft, taxation is theft. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm sure something
gets boring at that
for about 10 hours. Well, yeah, it's no business, right? And unfortunately, I have a wide variety of interests. So yeah, we just started this new a daily argument, right? 10 minutes or less, and I'm like clocking in, shaving it down at 9 minutes and 59 seconds. I got myself that challenge to get a good argument across. That's an interesting 10 minutes or less. So yeah, try new stuff. You know, wrote my first book in like 8 years or whatever. So it's new stuff, and it's going to be interesting, and it may work, and it may not work, and stuff has worked and has not worked. But what happens in general is that people are scared.
Holy crap.
They work very hard, they build a business, and then they get lazy and complacent, and then other people start a business, and because they're panicking and freaked out, they get all that adrenaline, that creativity, and they're usually young, pre-family, pre-kids, so they can put more work in and so on, and then they elbow aside the more complacent middle-aged people. That's the churning cycle of the free market. That's the creative destruction of capitalism. And so, yeah, the fact that you're scared, well, first of all, fear indicates desire. I'm not scared of being rejected as a ballerina because I'm not going to any auditions, right?
Yeah.
And so
This is a tough area, my friends.
Of desire. So the fact that you're afraid of something is not a reason
get
to avoid it. And
out of here, or
shit like that, but something that's voluntary, right? The fact
find
that you're
the
afraid
lead
of
or
something is why
something.
you should pursue it. It's the woman you most want to marry you that you're most afraid is going to say no, right? The woman you're most attracted to that you're most afraid she's going to say no. So in that case, fear, anxiety, is an indication of desire. So if you're scared of doing this business, that's a good indication that you really care about it and want it to succeed.
No, the game is long. There's a lot of content.
To be very successful. And
That's why I don't believe 4 hours
and now
until I
I'm
see
gonna
it.
get lazy and complacent, and someone's going to displace me. No, I'm not actually. I'm really working. I know that. I know that risk. So I'm working hard to keep it going. So yeah, I mean, look at IBM, right? IBM largely missed the.
And yes, there are some big things that slow you down, like the alien. You can't just. It's not like you can just be very skillful and blow past the alien.
Trust hearings by the DOJ. That can take a couple of the creative minds out of your company.
The alien is an instant kill.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're nervous about it is not a reason to.
So you have to be patient.
Throw yourself full hog into it.
Okay. So. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Just focus more on it. If I'm scared that it's not going to work, put more effort into it to make sure that it will? Is that what you're trying to say?
Like fear can do two things. Fear can paralyze you, or fear can energize you, right? Fear can paralyze you, or fear can energize you.
Wow, that's a lot of
And think of it
elites on this
if you're in
screen.
a really cold environment, like some just cold as a witch's tit environment, somewhere out on a glacier and so on, and you're really getting cold. Well, what that can do is make you say, shit, I better get someplace warm, or it can say, just lie down, just relax, you're feeling warmer,
just kinda locks
you know,
you up.
and then you die, right?
Yeah.
So, fear is something that is an indication of, fear is like potential energy, right? There's potential energy, there's kinetic energy. So fear is the potential energy that puts the kinetic energy of ambition into motion. Fear is not your enemy. Now, if fear overwhelms you to the point of paralysis, then don't pursue something. But if fear is like the sweaty palmed excitement, stage fright, nervousness, excitement, beautiful. Beautiful. You need that. You want that. That's how you put in a great performance. You use that fear to motivate you.
It's a new outlook. Thanks.
Yeah, we think of fear as a stop. No, fear is a beckoning. Fear is a beckoning. Come use the fear. You know, why does the lion hunt? The lion hunt because he's afraid of getting hungry. Right?
Yeah.
If he wasn't afraid of getting hungry,
And to
he
think
wouldn't hunt till
about
it was too late.
speeding through Alien Isolation, that is not a game of
Have
skill.
energy to be able to hunt, right?
There's not
Now, if you care, now maybe
there's not a whole lot of skill involved in the game.
For me, it's easy to care about what I'm doing.
I played the game on the highest difficulty,
Beings could be engaged in.
and I beat it on the highest difficulty, so I know
At the moment, pretty much at every time, but
that there's not a whole lot
so
that you can do to make the game hard or easy.
find the passion for what is it is that you want to do. But if it's just kind of something you fell into, well, but then you probably wouldn't feel that much
Hey, Sir Dubadoof.
nervousness about pursuing it, right? I assume that you care about
Welcome to the live stream.
prompts.
Yeah. I mean, I've already poured like $300 into equipment right now, and that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. Is I just bought all this stuff. Like I said, we've sold maybe 2 things for a collective profit of what, $20. And so, yeah, I'm just sitting here right now.
Anything good?
Crap. This
Nope.
sucks. I wanna do more, but at the same time, it's yeah, it's almost the paralysis of like, I don't want to push all this effort and time into it. I don't want to quit my job. I don't want to quit taking classes unless I'm sure that's something
Podcast, Sir Dubadoof.
Wait, you said you made a profit of $20 after spending $300?
It's the Stefan Molyneux podcast, Free Domain Radio.
right now. It's about it.
Does
like I
that mean
said,
a profit of $20 like you made back $320, or you spent $300
No,
and made $20?
no, yeah, like we've made probably about $20-30, discounting the maybe $5 of material it costs to make.
Still not
Completely
ancient.
Discounting the machines. Machines haven't even come close
You're
to
calling
paying
me up for a $280 loss. Plus the time.
pretty much.
Right. What do
See,
you
I need to do like an
I
86.
want to do more with it. I want to keep pushing it, but there's always just this thing biting at the back of my head that's just trying to say it's,
I don't know how old the
you
kid
wasted
is,
this money.
but
This was just something that you did on an impulse, and it's not a good decision. And so
he's worried
I
about
guess what I wanted to know
20
is if
bucks.
you ever had come to that point, and when is it a good time to just say, you know what, this isn't working, sell the machines to somebody, or do something else, or whether I should, I don't know, hunker down and just keep going with it until it works out. Or is
I
that
don't know.
more-
I don't know that hunker down is much of a business plan.
Well,
I mean, are you trying to sell new stuff?
I don't know.
Are you trying to market? Are you trying to, building something is, there's this old bullshit. If you build it, they will come. And it's like, this is in a movie that spent millions and millions. Hang on. This is in a movie that spent millions and millions of dollars on marketing and advertising. They didn't just build it, show it in a movie theater, and then people came.
Yeah. Right now, no, I haven't marketed outwards. I have access to at least one costume club that I'm a part of right now, that I have ideas already sitting in my head that I just need to go and push out. I don't know, right now it just kind of seems like a problem.
Marketing?
Because I don't have the things built right now, and I didn't want to show anything off until I had something built. Which, like I said, at this point it just kind of seems like me groveling right now, which is not productive.
Groveling, you mean asking people to buy stuff?
No, groveling isn't just kind of complaining nothing's working out, but I'm not doing anything.
That's not what groveling
And
means,
what if
but
it's just
sure.
Like, what if you stop doing it?
Then nothing would happen.
No, but I understand that.
Well, yeah,
If you don't kick the ball, it doesn't move. I get basic physics. But if you just stop doing it, I mean, what's the problem? Why bother?
I guess this guy does sound like he's 16.
$200 and you've made 20, and you're working at a couple hours a week. I mean, why not just drop
Up, freezer balls.
Because it's something I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you do it or you don't do it.
Yeah.
Like
Do or do not
you
do.
date someone or you don't date someone.
There is no try.
Yeah.
Do or do
Your
not.
partner has been doing this for a while, is that right?
He hasn't been selling things for a while, but he has been making stuff for a while. He has sold a few things, but never as a business.
How long has he been doing it for?
He has been doing it for...
3 months?
I don't know, I'm trying to remember here, I apologize.
Just
I want
roughly.
to say
Is it
about
months or
15
years? I don't need...
It's years. It's years he's been working with this stuff.
So he's been
And when
doing
I
this stuff
first
for
started
years.
getting into it...
Okay, hang on.
kind of-
So he's been doing
Yes.
this stuff for years, and how much...
These
has he sold?
spears are brutal.
What's the dollar value of what he sold?
I want to say probably around $2 grand.
And how much has he... I'm afraid to ask. How much has he spent? How much has he spent in materials to sell $2 grand?
I don't know. I don't know. I know one big thing that he's sold is a suit of medieval knight armor that he sold to a jouster. And that was a lot of money. And then...
Yes, but how
He
much
got-
time and energy and money did he spend to build that suit of armor?
I do not know. I have not talked to him in depth about how much it took him to build that armor.
And it's not his job, it's just his hobby, right?
It was his hobby, and yeah, I guess it... Yeah, it is a hobby. Not a job right now.
Do you have anyone in your family who's got any experience in business?
God, this level sucks.
As in, like, starting up your own business and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always one spear away from death.
Is your father around?
Not at the moment, but yes.
Have you talked to your father about this?
Minimally,
Why minimally?
because I don't think he would approve of it.
You literally can't dodge them. I say that as I dodge one. That was just lucky, though. Yeah, that was unavoidable. There was just too many
Nothing.
fucking spears going out, doing half my health each time they hit me.
He's right in one way, and that it's a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, so far, it's not been worse than a waste of time because you've lost money,
It's
right?
been a waste of money too, yes.
So what's wrong with your father disapproving of something? What's wrong with getting that feedback? Do you not trust your father? Do you think that he would steer you wrong? Do you think he wouldn't have your best interest at heart? Do you think why would you not allow him to review your potential business?
Nope. Not hit me with that spear. Let's get the hell out of here.
Well, he wants me to become an engineer. Is what he wants me to do. And I started engineering classes. Like I said, I'm taking some at community college right now during the summer. And it's something that I've actually started to enjoy. It's not like he's, at least I would like to think, he's not forcing me to do it against my will. It's something I've definitely grown to enjoy.
I can't see where the champion is. There he is.
Something I've wanted to do for a while, and I believe the reason he doesn't want me to do it is because he doesn't think it'll breed success, for lack of a better description.
Right, and so far empirically he would be correct, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you have been doing
God, just annoying ass enemies. Past couple floors.
Viability of your pursuit, then for him to say it's not viable is reasonable, right? I mean, there's no one who would say, yeah, if you're working 5 hours a week to lose $280 over a couple of months, that's not a very big business, right? That's not a very good business. I mean,
it's not a smart plan. Yeah.
Wait, no, it's not a plan at all. That's the problem. It's not a plan at all. I mean, you haven't... and look, there's no reason why you would, and I didn't know this stuff before I got into business because I was too busy being taught about useless Euclidean geometry rather than how to be an entrepreneur. Taught by women, but no, it's... you know, the questions are, you know, what's the size of the market? How much money do you need? How many hours a week do you work? How are you going to get the product out there? What profit margin are you expecting? Do you need... investors, and you would talk to more experienced people in the business. You would talk to this guy who's been working in this field for years and made $2,000. Well, we don't know if he's made $2,000. He may have lost $5,000, right? He may have spent
tongue lashers got me
a bunch of money on materials and only been paid $2,000, right?
Yeah.
All right, he might
and I've already got popped.
to make $2,000, right? Which is the market's way of saying that this is not a good use of your or nature's resources, right?
Yes.
So, do you know anyone who succeeded in this film?
Oh, there's one more I didn't kill? Fantastic.
I know of a couple people...
Well, there was that champion over here that I didn't kill either.
It is a hobby.
I can just...
I know
hang on, is there no one you know
There it is.
After being floating around this for a while and after your friend floating around this
Holy
shit! No one you
shit.
know if he's been able to make a living at this?
There is one person that I know is actually living off of his business, as opposed to just using it for, I guess, disposable income, for lack of a better term. Doing it more of a hobby as opposed to a living.
So he's living off it. Now, how is he living, though? Is he living, like, under a bridge, or is he living, like, a reasonable lifestyle?
I gotta get away from these lashers.
With a wife. I don't know if she works or not. But
okay, so he
owns his own house. Yeah, well, he owns his own house. He has.
You might want to find out if his wife works or not, but you know that can cover up a whole lot of economic inefficiencies and stuff. And can you talk to this person?
I mean, yeah, given a day or so, trying to finally get them to talk to me. But yes, I probably could.
And why wouldn't you? If the one person is successful that you know of, why wouldn't you talk to that person? They won't view you as an enemy. The only way they'll view you... That was
what I was worried about.
The only way they'll view you as an enemy is if there's only enough business for one person in the world. If it's so specialized that only one person can make a living at it, then he's going to view you as an enemy.
This level kind of sucks too. I already died
and
a couple times on it.
If there is room for more than one person in the world to do what you're doing, then he will view you.
See if we can find another group.
Got any brands, right?
There
and
we
the
go.
reason he'll view you as a friend is that, I mean, when I was in the software field, when competitors came into the field, it was great because they did all this advertising, and they went to, well, as I did, you go to all of these conventions, and you give speeches, and you man your booth, and you have little prizes, and you talk to people and so on, right? And what happened was, new people would come into the field, and they would advertise, and they would raise people's awareness that there was, in fact, a solution.
Juggernaut, but we got power pylon, so that's fine.
Stuff, which was great, because then people would say, oh, wow, this kind of software exists. I'm going to do some research, then they'd find us. So we got free referrals from their advertising, as they got free referrals from our advertising. So it was great. When other people came into the business, it was great. It also validated that there was a valid business model, right?
Yeah, that there was a market.
So he'll be happy to talk to you, and the business is creating props and costumes, right?
Yes.
And have you ever looked into how big that business is in the world? Like, what's the sum total that is spent in that field?
Got popped.
No. No, I
Why
don't.
not?
I never thought of that. Probably would be a good idea.
Right. It's
I
big.
know.
It's big, right?
Well, yeah, what I know is what I know locally, so kind of this state and surrounding states. And I do know that there's a pretty big market, especially talking to other people. I was actually amazed to hear how many people buy parts and just throw them together as opposed to trying to make their own stuff.
Right.
So that's where I got the idea started of, hey, maybe I could make some money off of this.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever... I just did a search here, and there's an article called How to Become a Professional Prop and Costume Maker. Have you ever looked at anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Right. And what do you think of what we're talking about?
It sounds like I am ill-equipped at the moment, and that if I do want this to work, I should put in the time, and moreover, especially now, put in the research.
Oh yeah, listen, I mean, think of, I know this from my time in the theater, that costumes and props are a big deal. Well, I hired them for the short movie that I made. I hired them for a play that I put on, that I wrote. I had a 19th century play with pistols and sword fights and stuff like that. So we needed lots of stuff. I had this woman, she's still active in the theater world, she just did a wonderful thing. I needed gardens. My play took place in a series of gardens. It was an adaptation of Turgenev's Fathers and Sons. It's a great book to read. My play was called Seduction, and she did amazing things. She actually got entire trees and brought them in on stage, and put them on stage. And we had this lighting overhead coming through the trees, and the tree limbs and so on. It was beautiful. I mean, really, it just looked amazing. And the theater that I'd rented, they had just refinished the floor, and she pulled these trees in on bases, chewed the living crap out of the floor.
And I spent a pretty sleepless night waiting, like thinking, oh, because the head of the theater was going to come and see the stage, and I thought, oh man, this guy's going to demand that I repair the floors that are all chewed up, and it's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars, and I don't have it, and I won't be able to go to school or to college, and oh man, it was rough. You know, that one, every now and then you got to have that one sleepless night.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was a pretty big,
4 levels.
pretty big business and a pretty big deal. So,
Never thought of me as a Diablo player. Why not?
how to get these kinds of things done at the moment, which is one thing. But the second thing is that I'm not sure that you don't.
Diablo's one of my most played games of all time.
You know, people have written free blogs out there on how to become a professional prop and costume maker. People who quit their jobs to do this full time have brain dumped on the internet for free on how to do this.
Yeah.
And you haven't even looked it up, right?
Try a 90 or even a 91,
no, I
maybe.
haven't looked it
So
up.
on a 1 to 10,
I've only looked at
on a 1 to
locals.
10,
Let's
like,
just try
give me a 1 to
pushing.
10 scale. How much do you care about this?
See how it works. Depends on the rift, of course.
Some friend of
Already
mine,
got popped.
and I might want to do it together or whatever.
But that's to be expected when you get hit right at the
Seven.
freaking
Okay, a 1
start.
to 10 for being a prop and costume maker.
7. Giving 5 is neutral.
5 is neutral.
1 is you really don't care. 10 is it's everything in the world. So
No,
that will
neutral is
limit-
you don't care. So having a 5
Neutral is you don't
scale
care.
that goes down to 1, 5 neutral you don't care, down to 1 neutral you don't care. Let's just say 1 is 0 is you don't care at all, 1 is you care a little bit, 10 is like you eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. So on a 0 scale to 10, what have you got?
Six.
I'll do it.
But that doesn't make any sense. You went from 7 on a 5 scale down to 6 on a 10 scale. Like you said, it was 7 with 5 being neutral. And now you've gone down only 1 when the scale has dropped 5 points.
Yeah, mathematically that doesn't make sense. I'm thinking.
Well, good. Keep thinking, then don't give me an answer until you finish thinking. That's usually helpful.
There we go.
Yeah, think before you open your mouth.
There's another champion over here. Oh, elites as well.
I'm gonna say a 4, and can I explain that?
No. Okay, so you've got
Okay.
a 4. So, listen. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
So, Chris, how long have you been listening to this show?
On and off for about 1.5 years.
Right. How long have you been waiting for this call? Or how long have you wanted to have this call?
About 2 months.
Right. Now, this is probably the only time we're going to chat, right?
Probably.
And of all of the
Well, that
things
didn't
you
work
brought
out
up,
too well.
You brought up this business that you don't really care about, that you barely work on, right?
Yeah.
And what that means is you're hoping that I'm going to blast through this non-issue and get to the real issue. Which is why I'm spending so much time on this business that's made you $20 and cost you $280, right? There's something that's more important. You brought this up as what's called a surface issue. It's not what you really called it about. Because you don't really care about it that much. It doesn't take up much of your time. And the dollars involved are not much, right?
Yeah.
So you're hoping that I'm going to not be distracted about the mirage of the surface issue, and I'm going to get to what's really going on and the real purpose of your call. It's not about this.
Okay.
It's something that the business means to you that is not about the business, but rather about something else. I
So
think
you're
it
asking,
either has
what is
something to
that
do with your
something else?
father or it has something to do with
Well-
your friend. I'm going to start with your friend. How is
Okay.
your friend encouraging you to get into a business that's costing you money when you're a student and don't have money? I assume
Okay.
you don't have hundreds of bucks you can just throw around in this business, right?
No. No. Tight on cash, definitely.
So your
Well,
friend has
not
a lot.
particularly tight.
Hang on. Your friend has a lot more experience than you do, Chris, and he's letting you burn up money, and he's holding out these hopes that there's some business, right, in it. But he's
Yes.
not. He's not even told you how much money he's made, how much money he's spent, how many hours he's put in. Is he really your friend?
Holy
Does he really
shit!
have your best interest at heart? Is he really helping you make good?
He's gonna
decisions?
destroy a
Or are you
friendship
just kind of along for
live
the
on the
ride
air.
because he thinks it's fun and better to have two, and like, is he really your friend? So far, this friendship has cost you a lot of time and money.
So I did see another champion right here.
I guess at this point I'm defending him. For one thing, he wants me to finish school. He says that he's like, school is priority. I know we want to do this business, but you need to finish school. That needs to be your top priority, no matter what.
Does it help you finish school to blow hundreds of dollars on stuff and lose that money, and also to spend 5 hours a week that you could have been studying on this? If school is a priority, why are you working with him at all on this? It's costing you money and time, which you don't have if you want to do well in school.
I got popped.
Yeah, it's...
So the problem is, Chris, you don't know how to protect yourself in the world, in my opinion. And this is not a criticism. Not a
Okay.
criticism at all. That you don't know how to evaluate people, you don't know how to evaluate situations and circumstances. as yet. You can learn that stuff, and it's not that hard.
What the heck was that?
This is a deficiency. You don't know how to judge what is beneficial to you versus what other people want. So this guy calls up and says, oh, I could use some help doing X, and you're like, sure, but school is the #1 priority. Well, if school is the #1 priority, why
Yeah,
is
we're
he
still
calling
doing
you
well.
with whatever, right?
I just took damage after teleporting. That's not good.
And what that means is, in my opinion, and tell me where I go astray, right? And I'm not trying to define your entire personality. I'm just talking in this particular circumstance, right?
Speed.
So when you were growing up, Chris, did your parents, I assume not your teachers, but did your parents say to you, okay, how is this going to benefit you? Let's negotiate to make sure you get what you want as well as everyone else. Did you have those kinds of back and forth when you were growing up?
See if we can get these guys to come a little
Only
closer
within the
together.
past year or so.
So
Kind
since
of
you're an adult,
out of
you
high
have to say
school.
no while you were
Yes.
growing up, right? Okay, so how did negotiations work in your family?
Oh, he's a juggernaut.
They happen all the time.
And I'm lagging. I'm lagging.
How did negotiations happen when your preferences conflicted with those of your parents?
My mom was a dead end, and my dad, if I presented good enough reason,
So,
if I convinced him, pretty much, if I said, you know, this is either why it's of no major detriment if I go into X activity, or if there's some benefit to it, then he
Okay,
would be
so
okay with me.
what do you mean when you say your mom was a dead end?
The entire time I've known my mom, it's pretty much when she says, no, you're not going to change your mind no matter what you say.
Or she's just stubborn and won't listen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how did your father end up negotiating with her?
Goodness
Was he able to do
gracious.
something you weren't able to do?
What do you mean by that?
Was your father able to negotiate with your mother, but you weren't able to, or were neither of you able to negotiate with your mother?
He was able to negotiate with her. It was usually, she would, like, I would ask them something, and she would say no, and then I'd be bummed from that, and I'd talk to my dad about it, and he's like, well, that doesn't make sense, so how about you go do it, and then I'll talk to your mom.
Do you know if your father ever talked to your mom saying it's really not healthy to raise a child by denying him his preferences and not negotiating with him? It's going to teach him to crumble under what other people want as an adult.
Not that I'm aware of.
Did your mother ever change her behavior of not, or at least admit that it was a problem and commit to changing her behavior and not negotiating with you?
Not a lot that I can think of.
And why is your father less around now than he was before?
Because, well, right now it's because he's
Oh,
out
I got
backpacking.
hit.
He's out doing stuff. He's out vacationing.
With your mom?
Mostly, yeah. Backpacking, she doesn't go backpacking with him, but when they went to go visit my grandparents, and they're gonna go on a road trip here in a couple months. So it's mostly the both of them.
Right.
Let's see if there's not another group hiding here somewhere. Uh-oh.
So you were able to negotiate with your father, but not with your mother?
For the most part, yes.
Right. And so your father, why do you think he chose a woman to marry and have children with who he couldn't negotiate? Oh, sorry, who would not be able to negotiate with his kids?
Because they shared a lot of the same ideals and mentalities when it comes to life, I guess you could say.
Well, one
Yes, they similar thinking, similar ideals.
Well, one of those ideals is you're stubborn and you bully people, and the other one is you negotiate. They don't seem particularly similar to me.
Well, that's why I know they got together, and that's why I know they're still happily married. But...
Okay, let me ask it a different way.
Yeah, okay.
Did your father have a problem with the fact that your mother wouldn't negotiate with you?
Not that I ever heard.
Do you think he should have?
As long as I don't get a really crappy floor, I should be able to beat this.
A couple of
Level 91.
Yeah, I think that there are a couple of times when
Hopefully.
he was, you know, visibly annoyed that she would maybe hold on to something for too long. Like I said.
Alright, 2 groups.
You know, her telling me no and then me doing it anyways, she would sometimes hold on to it more with my brother, but
Whoa.
So just a couple of times over the entire 18-year course of your childhood, just a couple of times, he was bothered by your mother not negotiating with you.
that I knew of, yes, that I could tell.
Do you think?
1 second, I'll look at that message, but it's crazy in here. Oh, this is... It's a call-in show, so people call in to talk to Stefan, the host, about whatever they want.
But I don't know if you're trying to get something else. Trying to get at something.
And this guy called in to talk about his problems with his little business he's trying to start up, creating movie props. And it got to the point where the guy said that he doesn't care about his business too much, so Stefan assumed there must be some other reason why he called in. And that's kind of the course the conversation has taken. A little bit weird conversation here, but sometimes that's how they go. Another champion group. Nice. Hopefully it'll be the last one, too. Ah, crap. Didn't mean to do that. He's a juggernaut. He did not die. I have pretty bad luck when it comes to juggernauts. There's another group. He's not a juggernaut. Oh, he is a juggernaut. Finish this guy off. See if I can get back over to this power pylon.
I want to say no.
No, see now you're trying to please me, right? No. This is good because, you know, you're trying to please your father by doing the engineering. You're trying to please your friend by dabbling in this business. Now you're trying to please me by giving me the answer that I want. I just want the truth. I mean, I'm curious. I don't have any particular answer that I need. I mean, I'm not like got some hypothesis I want to club you over the head with. I'm just exploring here, right?
Okay. Well, partially probably because it's normal to me, but no, I thought it made sense. And even
new record.
It makes sense that he would, you know, be a little annoyed, but I guess eventually things moved on always. Never seemed to be any major problems.
I should be leveling these up.
Okay. Well, I mean, then if you don't have any issues with your father not having issues with your mother not negotiating...
I failed at 90%.
Then you don't see a connection between your lack of preparation as an adult...
That's disgusting.
...to evaluate things and figure out what's beneficial to you as well as what's beneficial to others. Do you not see a connection between your mother not negotiating with you and you not being able to figure out what your own needs are and preferences are in a relationship with your friend about the business?
No, I'm not seeing a connection. Don't get me wrong, there could be, but personally I don't feel like that's...
Another Dainty's binding, nice. Hopefully it's pretty good.
Right. Okay, well, I'm certainly not going to tell you what your experience and your thoughts are. So, yeah, listen, I mean, if the business is costing you time and money while you're in school and you want to stay in school, then I don't think it's a very compatible thing to go
slightly better
that route. And I would suggest that if you're interested in this as a business, talk to your friend about how much he spent and how much he's made and how much time he puts in. You know, pull out the old spreadsheet. You know, if you spend 100 hours and you sell something for $1,000 and it's cost you nothing, then you got paid $10 an hour, right? And if it cost you $500, then you're getting paid $5 an hour. So you can figure out these kinds of things. To me, if you're not, you know, the best things to do in life are the things you do for free anyway. And I worked on philosophy for years, not only for free, but when it cost me, you know, I mean, it cost me in academia, it cost me in friendships, it cost me in romantic relationships to work on philosophy. So if you'll do it against the headwind, you'll do it with the wind behind you. But I would look into what people have done to...
Are you kidding me? Siphon blood damage and life per second's all it's given me.
And ask them for some advice. But I really appreciate the call. I wish you the very best of luck with your schooling and or business endeavors, Chris. And thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for the wild trip.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Oh, right up next we have Buddy. Buddy wrote in and said, "Since I was a kid, I've been somewhat obsessed with the idea of finding a girlfriend. Throughout my teenage years, I had a problem with depression and putting women up on a pedestal, and went through years of women taking advantage of me emotionally."
Oh, hang on.
Oh, right up next we have Buddy. Buddy wrote in and said, "Since I was a kid, I've been somewhat obsessed with the idea of finding a girlfriend. Throughout my teenage years, I had a problem with depression and putting women up on a pedestal, and went through
this is
years
garbage.
of women taking advantage of me emotionally because of this. Now I'm in college, and I've lost a good amount of weight, changed my style, and became much more confident with myself. My social skills have increased, and I feel I'm much more comfortable around women. However, I still have not been in a relationship yet, and my depression has turned itself into cynicism and anger. I'm not typically an angry guy, but seeing people around me in college act irresponsibly, but be much more successful in their relationships, makes me feel isolated and jealous. I don't consider myself desperate, because I still have standards and morals that I don't want to go against, but I feel like this being angry and constantly comparing myself to others is unhealthy. What can I do to relieve myself of the anger and frustration I feel as a result of being unsuccessful in my pursuit of a relationship?" That's from Buddy.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
All right, prediction for how this call is going to go.
That's from Buddy.
Prediction for how this call is going to go. Stefan's going to tell him not to worry about it. He's going to tell him it's no big deal.
Fortune favors the bold.
And he's going to go off on a big, gigantic rant in the process of saying so. Let's watch. I mean, listen.
Buddy, how you doing? Well, I guess I can ask you in general, although I got it pretty specifically with your conversation.
Well, it's good to be on, Stefan. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I guess as of recently, since I've gotten out of school, I've been out of school for about a month and a half now. I landed myself a very, very good paid internship that's raking me in very decent amount of money. I have been feeling a lot better, but as far as my relationships with
try 92.
goes, it has not been
Holy
fantastic,
crap.
I should say. I mean, I'm still pretty
Look at all these guys.
Why do you put women on a pedestal? Oh, congratulations on the job, but why do you put women on a pedestal, do you think? And what does that even mean, just so you can sort of help me understand?
Well, when I was younger, I think a lot of it, I grew up in a family that consisted of, like, including extended family, of entirely men. Like, I think, combined with both sides of my families, I have a family from New York, which is very large, and I have a family from here in Seattle, and combined, I have maybe 7 or 8 women out of, like, the 40 members of my family. Maybe that number doesn't make sense, but I have a relatively small number of people in my family, so I guess growing up around men really kind of made me feel like I couldn't really relate to women, and I didn't really care about that up until my teenage years, when I started kind of being sexually interested in women where I felt like I was kind of falling behind.
Whoa, I can't control my character.
Yes, I do, and she's a very...
Wait, what'd she say? What did he say?
Yes, I do, and...
You have a mom, right?
You have a mom, right?
Yes, I do, and she's a very good mother, but she is not very traditionally feminine, I should say.
That is not possible.
She's butch.
Because you send me on this big runaround of having a lot of males in your family not being able to relate to women, but you have a mom. So you grew up with a woman in the house, right?
Oh yeah, of course, but she even admits herself that she feels bad sometimes because she didn't really teach us how to relate to women. I have 2 younger brothers.
No, she's a woman. I don't understand. What am I not getting here?
I guess
so. Let's say she's a non-traditional woman, then she's going to teach you how to relate to a non-traditional woman, but there's still a woman, right?
Yeah, definitely. I guess my point is...
spear throwers again.
I mean, I guess I'm
God
the first
damn
kid,
it.
so that might not have been like a priority. I mean, she's a good mother, and aside from that point, but I guess as far as relationships, she all just kind of said, oh, well, and she says it to this day when I talk to her about these issues, oh, well, everything will fall into place, and all you have to do is you just gotta wait for the right moment to be yourself, and to me, I kind of roll my eyes at that, but...
Wait, so this, would you say, and I assume since
I'm
you're
just getting wrecked here, man.
this issue, buddy, would you say that this is the biggest issue in your life?
Hey, Project Pandora, man. Welcome. I'm just getting thrown around here.
So, not so much because, I mean...
Alright,
even
this
though relationships
isn't
are
gonna work.
important, I mean, in regards to education and overall happiness, I think that it can take a backseat, but I think that the amount of...
No, sorry, let's just simplify. So, you've got your education sorted out, you've got your career going.
I'm just gonna cancel this rift, it's not gonna happen.
Right, those are the 2 things in life that are very important for happiness, right? And so, if you've got your work stuff going on, and you have been somewhat obsessed as
where have I been?
finding a girlfriend,
I stream every Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m.
I'm a sophomore in college now.
That's where I've been, man. I also streamed this past Sunday, too, this morning.
Yeah, I would say 6 or 7.
I've been sticking to the schedule. I mean, there's some days where I did a short stream last week and the week before. But I've been keeping up with it pretty decently, you know? Yeah, I've been hitting Diablo 3 pretty hard this season. I hit it pretty hard last season, but I've hit it even harder this season. And I'm really trying to push. Sometimes you get shit rifts like that where you can't do anything. So I need to get 3 more levels on this mutilation guard, then I can use it to augment probably the Stragul scales. Or actually, actually maybe the Traveler's, no, not the Compass Rose probably. Because I want to augment something that I can use in multiple builds first. So I'm getting the benefit of it. I'm just going to scale back to 90. Yeah, this is a... oh my god. This is a Necromancer. Died trying to get this progress orb. This is a very high toughness build, but it does take some time to get going. We got a Juggernaut. This is probably my least favorite map for the Necromancer. Just all the builds are really bad on it. I guess Inarius might not care about this, but Inarius build sucks. So it doesn't really count.
I'm afraid not.
Did they ever nerf them? I don't know. I don't really follow the development. I just play the game. Let's get out of here. Floor sucks. Yeah, I predicted months ago that the Necromancer would be the best class. I have no idea if that's true. I have no idea if it's the best class. I haven't really paid attention to anything other than what I'm doing. Herald of Pestilence. Some people have claimed that this build I'm playing now is the most powerful in the game. I have no idea if that's true. I haven't checked to see what the top Greater Rift solos are for every class. But the top right now is a 111, which just seems insane to me. Because this build is unfortunately very rift dependent. If you get a shit rift, you're not going to have a good time. Simple as that. Another 2 groups, that's pretty good. Another 3 because of the channeling. Whoa, what the hell am I doing? Kill this champion. So basically any rift where you get a channeling pylon is going to be really good. And I got a channeling pylon right next to 3 groups. Well, 2 groups, technically. Yeah, that 111 I was talking about earlier was Necromancer. I haven't checked any other class for solos. Whoa, game locked up. So there are 2 groups here. I'm trying to spot both champions. one of them. I can't find the other one. I can't find the other champion. Here's one. There's a freaking ball headed towards me. Let's see if we can find that champion. One last chance. There he is. He's a small little bugger. There's another one. Nope, nope. Alright, where are they? There's one. There's the other one. Couldn't kill it because he was a juggernaut. Juggernauts are the bane of this build's existence. Let's see if we can kill them both. Need them to come this way, though. Come on. Surprised I wasn't able to kill him there. Let's keep pulling him this way. Maybe we'll run into someone else. Okay, here's another group. Juggernaut is just shitload of health. They have extra health. And that's really bad, because this build can't kill anything except when it's a short window with all the cooldowns popped. So this window right here is when I can kill. Other than that, I'm just trying to find the next group of elites, trying to survive. Slowing things down, cursing them, which increases my damage and reduces my cooldown time. It can be tough to kill these blue packs because you can't always see them. Conduit. Oh no. Conduit's really good for this build because you can actually kill some trash. Get a little bit of extra progress. Reynad's live. Yeah, the only way you kill any trash is... Ooh! The only way you kill any trash with this build is if you got a little bit extra time left on the cooldown after killing an elite. Or... if you get Conduit, that's it. Other than that, don't care about trash. So this is the annoying part of the run when you just used all your cooldowns. And then you gotta wait. Alright. I got a shield pylon. That pylon right here was shield. Alright. Level 80 gem, so now I can augment. No. Keep that, I guess. Alright, so now the question is, what am I augmenting? I guess I'll augment the Trigul scales. Actually, no, the Compass Rose would be the best. Compass Rose. Like, it's not the best Compass Rose, but what you gonna do? Hey, Dementia. Welcome to the live stream. Here we go. Not that funny. This is the guy who's done a 111. This guy's just got everything augmented. That's what I'm working on doing.
like you could use a new item of, what?
Alright, Project Pandora, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate that. Good to see you again. Hopefully I'll see you again soon, and have a good time getting that haircut, my friend. See you later. Okay, so it's now time to level up another gem. Rinse and repeat. Okay, I'll see you around then. That's cool, man. I'll see ya. I don't know what the next augment would be. Here's the worst map for Necromancer. Let's continue the play.
Got your work stuff going on, and you have been somewhat obsessed, as you say, with the idea of finding a girlfriend for the last, what, 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah, since about 7th grade. I'm a sophomore in college now.
Right, okay. So what are we talking, 6 years?
Yeah, I would say 6 or 7.
And when did your mother first become aware that you might want a girlfriend?
I don't know. I think she always just kind of made the assumption. We never really talked about these issues until, I mean, to be honest, until very recently.
But she would have some idea that a teenage boy would be interested in girls, right?
Well, I mean, I think she knew that I was interested in women when I was, probably around the age of 14, but we never really talked about it, and whenever she would bring it up, I would kind of avoid talking to her about it because it was kind of an ego thing. Like, I didn't want to talk about getting a girlfriend with my mom, I guess, and I kind of recognized that.
Wait, why? You said she was a good mom. Wouldn't she be close? I mean, I don't quite understand.
I honestly think it's a pride thing. It's just kind of, you know, I kind of, like I said, I compared myself a lot. I saw my friends getting along really well with women, and I just kind of felt like, you know, if I'm going to my mom, I'm kind of copping out, and that I kind of need to man up and just do it myself and figure things out for myself.
But maybe your friends were able to get along with women because they talked about it with their mom.
Yeah, and I recognize that now that I'm older and much wiser than I was at 13.
Okay. Did your mom pursue the topic with you when she saw that you weren't getting what you wanted?
I would say kind of yes and no, but for the most part, yes. I think she definitely made an attempt to, but I mean, initially I was uncomfortable with it, but I think an aspect of the reason I was uncomfortable with it was because I thought her advice was didn't mean very much. Because it wasn't like, okay, this is what you should do. It was like, all you have to do is wait. You just have to wait it out, and things will go your way eventually. And I'm not that type of
Didn't even get a legendary at the end for that.
So your mom didn't help you?
Level 20 suck.
I think she tried to, but fundamentally...
No. You gotta, nah, man, don't bullshit me, man. Come on. Let's be straight, man. You're a man, you say you're influenced by men, let's just be straight man to man, right? If your mom gave you useless, suck it up and wait advice on the most important issue in your teenage years and the most important issue she's not helping you. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
It'll just happen. It's not helping you. And it didn't just happen, so she was wrong, right? Am I wrong?
I mean, no, you're correct. I guess my point is that I don't think she was. I think she was trying to help, but she didn't.
How do you know she was trying to help?
I mean, I guess I don't. I can't say for sure. I mean, there's no definite way to. I don't think she was.
Do you know how we know when someone's really trying to help? Here's a pro tip for you. If someone's really trying to help, then when they don't help, they change what they do.
Well, I mean, even today, at the age of, I mean, almost 20, she gives me the same advice as when I was 13, and it's, I think it's kind of useful because saying just wait. I mean, when somebody responds.
Okay, so I understand. So she gives terrible advice that doesn't help, and she doesn't change what she's doing. Like if your car's stuck in the slush, like in the snow, and I push and it doesn't move, and I just say, "Don't worry, we'll just keep pushing for the next week." Am I really trying to help you? If it's not working, no, I have to go get a friend, we have to go get a tow truck, we have to go get some salt, we have to get some planks to put under the top, whatever it's going to be. I have to change what I'm doing if what I'm doing isn't helping. And her advice is, if her advice is like, it's going to happen for you, don't worry about it, it's like, does she notice that she was wrong for 6 or 7 years in a row?
I mean, I would say she doesn't think she's wrong because, like I said, it's that advice where there's no moving on from that. You know, it's like saying just wait, and then you say, well, it hasn't worked for the past 6 or 7 years. Well, that's because you just have to wait. It's kind of like an be all. You know what I mean?
So she doesn't really want to help you.
Yeah.
If your friends have gotten girlfriends when they're early to mid-teens, and you haven't, 7 years later, just waiting is terrible advice. So why is she giving you this terrible non-advice?
I'm not sure. I mean, and I know this probably isn't very good response to that kind of question, but I would say I don't think she's trying to undermine me. I just think the advice is just fundamental.
No, I think it's even worse than that. Frankly, I mean, just from the outside. Trying to undermine you would be interested.
Hey, Dan Dark, welcome.
If it was negative.
Yeah.
What if she just doesn't care? What if she just doesn't want to know? What if, I mean, Mom, I'm having trouble meeting girls. It'll happen, don't worry, just wait. This goes on year after year after year, nothing changes. Where the hell is her, I want to find a way to get my son, or help my son get the thing that he really wants?
Yeah,
two-handed mighty weapon.
Sure. And the one thing I will say is that we've talked.
That's useless.
Recently, we've talked more in depth about it to kind of clarify what we both want. And
you and your mom?
Yes, and I do, and I've talked to my dad about it too. And me and my dad have actually grown a lot closer over the years. And what I have said in the past, I guess when I talk to my mom about this, when I bring that up, I consider myself a pretty conservative guy. I'm not really into the idea of hookup or something. That's
okay, no, we're going off in some other direction now. So what about your father? Did your father sort of, I mean, he got a woman, right? And so where was your desire for a girlfriend on the priority list of your father?
My dad actually, I think my dad kind of showed more interest in me being successful. At least he vocalized it a little bit more, but I think he was kind of uncomfortable with the idea of talking about that. So he kind of made jokes. Like like all through my teens, he'd be like, "So, Rich, have you found a girlfriend yet?" Hey, and I don't think it was malicious, but it definitely, I think he
What do you mean you don't have? It sounds kind of mean to me. You know, it's like if you really want a girlfriend and you're not having any luck, it's like, hey, have you found a girlfriend yet? I mean, it seems kind of douchey to me, to be honest. I'm just being frank with you. I'm not, judging. I'm just telling you what I think.
Well, I think it came from more of a place of him being uncomfortable about talking about that stuff.
So what? What is it? Well, I couldn't change the kid's diaper because I find that uncomfortable, so they got a horrible rash and died. Well, it's okay, because you're uncomfortable, so you don't have to do it. Well, I couldn't go to war, Your Honor, because I find war uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't know what discomfort has to do with anything. I mean...
Yeah, and I guess what surprises me the most about this is that my parents are both, have master's degree in psychology.
Oh, you didn't say that. Oh, no.
I feel as though I've just embarrassed myself.
No, listen, I have huge amounts of sympathy. But why, I just don't, why would they be uncomfortable with helping you to get a date, or helping you to talk about how to get a date, or helping you up your game, or whatever, right?
I mean, like
teleport
I said
through
earlier,
here.
I think it was pretty 50-50 up until recently, and now that I've done a little bit
50-50.
kind of why they didn't help me. I think one part it was maybe they didn't care, and on another part I think I didn't allow them for when they did. In a way, kind of going back to the whole pride.
Well, you know, if you've had a couple of years, if your father mocking you not having a girlfriend, yes, you might be a little bit wary if he shows interest, of course, right?
Yeah, that does make sense now that you put it that way. I guess my point is that I don't think they have bad intentions, but I guess that doesn't.
Did I say anything?
Jesus.
No, but I guess I thought it was implied.
So you're having a conversation with something implied rather than anything I'm saying?
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just trying to process it in a way that...
No, you're trying to defend your parents and avoid the topic. See? Discomfort equals avoidance. I wonder where you might have learned that from.
Oh, you're a lot better at this stuff than I am.
Well, that's all right. Listen, and it's just because I'm on the outside. You know, for my stuff, I need outside eyes as well, right? So, you know, it's just easier when you're on the outside, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. How long and how much were you overweight?
I was actually fairly overweight. I think I would say, well, I'm still overweight, but nowhere to the degree I was even a year ago. I would say from the age, probably from 5th grade to now. So overweight probably about 6 years.
Why were you overweight?
I think it was a mix because food is actually a hobby for me. I worked in a kitchen for 2.5 years, but beforehand, food has always been kind of a comfort thing. I mean, I have a big family from the East Coast, so we never get together unless there's a huge plate of something sweet or salty in front of us.
Not a greater
And I
Rifty
think I
Stones.
just kind of learned to associate food with comfort.
Let's just do some
Why did your parents allow you
group
to become overweight?
riffs.
Well, I think both of my parents are overweight as
It'll
well.
be
And
faster.
my dad actually, when I was in 6th grade, my dad pointed out that I was overweight, but he did it in a way that was not very optimal.
What did he do? What did he say?
I mean, I don't want to get into a huge story, but to make a long story short, he basically put me on a scale and said, like, this is not normal for a kid your age, and you need to do something about it. And I remember it kind of started a fight with my entire family. Not my mom, but I have my grandma, my mom's mom lives with us, and I remember she still holds like anger to my dad for that reason. Like when she thinks about that, I hardly remember that day, but when she thinks about it, she gets.
Why do I keep getting this particular rift floor when it's the worst rift floor for Necromancer, in my opinion?
I was angry at him for pointing out for me being overweight. I think it was in the way he did it. It was more in a way of like, you're an idiot, you need to fix this, rather than, hey, I've noticed that you've been gaining a lot of weight recently, and I think you should do this to...
But your parents are responsible for the food you eat, right?
Yes.
So, if they put food that is unhealthy in front of you, isn't it their fault that you're overweight to some degree?
I would say to some degree. It wasn't so much the food that we ate, it was how much I ate. So when I was a kid, I would always think that you would have to eat until you were 100% full. And
Yeah,
we didn't.
you have to stop eating before you're full because it takes a while for your stomach to fill, right? And for the hormones to be released to tell you you're full.
Oh yeah, but that was part of my problem.
Or you
was
just
that
eat
I would
slow.
It wasn't so much what we ate; it was how much I ate.
Yeah, but your parents are responsible for controlling your portions.
Mm-hmm.
Your children are overweight. It's the fault of the parents. 100%. Parents control the environment, parents control the food, parents control the urgency of exercise and so on. If kids are overweight, 100% the fault of the parents. Now, being overweight makes it hard to get a girlfriend. Did you have any friends who were overweight or fat who got girlfriends?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of friends that I had who were overweight, but I mean, I would go out on a limb and say, yeah, most of my friends who had girlfriends were tall, skinny guys.
Right. So, one of the fucking things that your mom could have said, buddy, is we have to change the diet in the family because you're too fat to get a girlfriend. You need to lose weight. We got to get a nutritionist. You got to get a gym membership. We've all got to go exercise. We've got to.
It was a big deal in this family.
Unable to get girlfriends.
This guy's family.
No eggs, no continuity.
See, the funny thing is that I had actually brought that up with her a few times rarely when we talked about this, when I was like in high school. I said, Mom, the reason girls don't like me is because I'm overweight. And she said, oh no, that doesn't matter. There's guys who are fatter and uglier than you who get girlfriends all the time.
Wait, she's saying it doesn't matter?
She said she said
What
it
a
matters,
train wreck,
but it doesn't
man.
matter nearly as much as you think it does.
Was your father always overweight?
No, actually, my
Interesting.
dad,
So when your parents got together, your father wasn't fat. Isn't that interesting? She did not choose a fat man.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. Yeah, it was funny actually. I don't know if this matters, but going off their personalities, my dad was kind of a college rugby star, and my mom was really, really quiet, kind of stuck to her books. So the fact that they got together, I think it's really cool, but at the same time, it's kind of surprising.
Okay, I don't want to get off on this stuff because that's just a distraction. Was your mother overweight when she married your father?
No, she was not.
Ah, isn't that interesting? So neither of them choose a fat person to date, get engaged to, and get married to, but they tell you, as a fat boy, oh, it's just gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of what my perspective was.
But she's a good mom, right?
I would say so outside of this, yes.
Outside of this?
Outside of this situation.
Outside of feeding you to the point where you have health issues and can't get a girlfriend? You mean outside of that? Outside of lying to you about the sexual market value of obesity? Outside of putting off necessary family reforms to make you healthier and more attractive?
Whoa, we got a barbarian in here.
Because she feels uncomfortable? You mean other than all of that stuff?
Forgot barbarians existed.
Well, now that I kind of put the pieces together, I mean, I guess a good mom in the sense where she would always provide. Like, we never felt a lack of, like, I mean, as
never felt a lack. You understand that's the problem, right? She provided too much food.
Mm-hmm.
Why did she fatten you up?
Well, like I said, I don't know if I can determine that. I mean, I don't know if there was, like I said, I don't think there's any motive behind it.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Are you saying that there's no motive behind fattening a child up? It's just random. It's just accidental. There's no causality in her behavior, no motive whatsoever. Man, tonight's show is like parental defendobots. Robots defending parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to be pretty. I guess I find it hard to be critical of them, I should say.
Why? They're
Well,
human beings. Do you think they don't make mistakes?
Oh no, of course. I think they make mistakes, and I think they own up to them when they need to. I mean, maybe not in this case.
Now the hero back and defending again. When did they gain weight? You said your parents gained weight, right?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I mean, I think they've both, since they've had kids, I think they've both been moderately overweight. Not to the point where they have health issues, but I would say, like, they're both moderately overweight since they've had kids. And
what would your
Oh,
teenage
what
life,
is it with the... Seriously.
Buddy, what would your teenage life have been like?
Stop giving
If
me
you had
this
one
frickin' floor.
Probably a lot more...
I hate this floor.
There's probably been a lot more confidence going around, at least in regards to myself.
Were you able to participate in sports much?
Oh, yeah, actually, I was on the rugby team for 3 years, and I stopped doing that.
I'm sick of this floor.
To pursue music more, and I did. But,
Yeah, I'm listening to
rugby
Stefan
was something I
Molyneux,
was
man.
passionate About, and I was actually very good at, but I had to choose between rugby and doing music, very committed, and I chose music because I was much better at that.
Well, and I guess...
Right now he's ripping into this guy's mom. It's brutal.
I would say a little bit, but... Yeah,
What the hell were you being fed that doing regular rugby didn't help you with... Were you being fed ball bearings? What were you being fed?
That's the problem with those levels, though, Sir Dubadoof. There is no skill.
Yeah, but yeah.
You just
are
can't
you asking me
do...
what I was fed?
You can't do anything because I can't control my... I can't control my mages. They just follow me, and if they get stuck on the outside of a door, then they can't shoot anything. And there's nothing I can do. There is no skill, that's the problem. I wish that those particular levels, that tile set would come up a lot less frequently than it does. Alright, let's continue listening to Stefan rip this guy's mother. Oh, look what tile set it is. It took me a little bit of a second or two to notice. Can't teleport through there for some reason. there was an odious collector there. I'm injured.
The Rift Guardian has found.
Whoa, what the? Ah, crap. Let's continue.
No, it's a rhetorical question. It's just that rugby is a pretty intense game. I played when I was younger, and a lot of running.
Rugby.
And to have it not have an effect on your weight seems surprising.
It's also one of those. It's also one of those sports where you can kind of get away with being a fat guy in some cases.
Oh, sure, yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, especially
it's like
being
football, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't call him the fridge because he's tiny.
For sure, yeah.
Do you think the depression when you were a teenager was related to being overweight?
I would say it definitely did. I mean, not so much being overweight, but I think the depression, being overweight kind of made women not be very interested in me, which kind of made my self-value plummet pretty far.
Sure. And do you want to know why you put women on a pedestal?
I could guess, but I'm here for a reason.
Because you felt deficient. Because you were deficient. Because you were fat. Right, so because you come in with the negative called fat, you try to slim down through excess praise, so to speak. Because you feel deficient, you feel like you have to praise women, put them up on a pedestal, because you're coming with all that extra weight. Right?
Yes.
Like the fat girls who are funny.
Yes.
You come with a deficiency, so you have to make up for it somehow, and you did that through praise, which only reveals insecurity.
It's actually
if you have high sexual market value, you don't have to praise everyone. You don't have to praise women. You don't have to try and bribe them with flattery, so they'll pay attention to you. Because nobody believes that flattery anyway, and all it does is show insecurity.
Yeah. And it was actually pretty funny because I was voted class clown for...
Oh, sure, yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah.
And do you understand that you put your mom on a pedestal too, right? You don't like to criticize, right? You've given your mom an enormous amount of praise in this conversation. You know, she may have some wonderful qualities, but some of the stuff we're talking about is not wonderful.
Yes.
So the question is, why did your mother not tell you don't put women up on a pedestal?
Josh Robinson has left.
I will say I think she kind of wanted me to at times.
Of course she did. Of course she did. And why did she want you to put women on a pedestal?
Maybe it's because I didn't have a lot of... She really didn't like this kind of... Especially when I went to college. I mean, I know this doesn't tie back, but she doesn't like that kind of... You know the stereotypical guy behavior, like, oh man, I'd really like to get with her. She really doesn't like that behavior, so I think she tried to steer me away from that, but kind of ended up making me scared of her.
Wait. So she's an overweight woman who doesn't like the fact that men judge attractiveness?
Yeah, she would say
she's a woman who let herself go, who went from being an attractive, slender woman to an overweight woman, and now she's got a big problem with men judging attractiveness, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Melania Trump has a big problem with men judging attractiveness?
Probably not.
I'm gonna go with a no on that, Batman. Yeah, she let herself go, she got overweight, and now she's all like, well, you should judge a woman by what's inside. It's like, well, what's inside seems to be a lot of veal parmesan.
Sorry, I have somebody with me right now, so I'm kind of trying not to laugh at what you said there.
Okay, I'm gonna break it down for you, buddy.
Whoops.
As I see it. Dump everything that is not relevant to you. When a woman sees a fat man, she sees a dysfunctional mom. She sees a mom who's not invested in her son's romantic success. She sees a selfish mom. She sees a narcissistic. I'm not saying this about your mom, I'm just saying what I think women see. Right? She sees a selfish mom. She sees a mom that's not fundamentally interested in her son's success. She sees a difficult mother-in-law. Do you understand? A difficult, negative, dysfunctional mother-in-law. She sees fat children of her own who go over to the grandmoms and get fed up. She sees a son who doesn't know how to stand up to his mom, which means that if the mom has a problem with her, the son, her husband, is going to side with his mom against her, right? There's no boundaries, no judgment, no criticisms, no rationality, no reality in the relationship, or little. And so, you didn't want to be fat as a teenager, right? You never wanted to be fat. You didn't wake up in the morning and say, well, I could go and be a lean, mean running machine, or I could be a pear-shaped fat guy, right? Fat signals significant dysfunction in the family. A child being fed up by a mother, a father not intervening, the family not dealing with the problem, and now fat genes.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Switched on when you get overweight, and they can pass themselves to your children. So the woman looks at you and sees domineering mom, absent father, dysfunctional family situation, and I'm going to have fat kids if I'm with this guy. Oh, and by the way, he's not going to live that long either. Oh, and he's going to have erectile dysfunction problems because of obesity. Oh, and he's going to have trouble cleaning himself because of obesity, and he's going to smell. Whatever, right? This is what people think. Obesity is gross for obvious biological reasons. And it signals significant dysfunction, in my view, within the family structure.
Holy crap.
I don't care how funny you are and how much praise you can wedge up a woman's cleavage. There's not enough of that in the world.
Well, I got a lot of kills on the goblins and got my loot.
Want to step into that quagmire. And she's going to talk to you and she's going to ask you, as women do, about your family. If a woman's interested in you, she's going to ask about your family. And if you are ignorant, if you lie, if you avoid, if you misdirect, if you fog, if you make excuses, do you know what you're saying?
Anything interesting here?
Mommy. I'm going to do whatever mommy says. Father not standing up for me, mommy ruling the roost. Want to get married? And what women are going to test themselves if they've got a brain, right? They're going to look and they're going to test themselves and say, okay, what's my relationship going to be like with this guy's mom? Because women know the dark hearts of women, just as men know the dark hearts of men. And there's good stuff to women and there's good stuff to men, but there's dark stuff there too, right? We know that from the Milgram experiment. Some guy in a white lab coat tells you to kill people. 90% of people will just do it, right? And so a woman is going to be scanning. And she's going to say, if I go over for meals at this guy's house, I'm going to get that too. And if I say anything about this family being fat, they're going to hate me for years. And if my boyfriend tries to lose weight, he's going to be probably undermined by his family. For some reason, your family is invested in your romantic failure. I don't know why, but the evidence to me seems pretty clear. What's going on? They feed you to the point where you get fat. They don't tell you to lose weight, and they say, oh, don't worry, romance is just going to happen year after year after year after year, and it doesn't happen, and they don't change their tune. They don't want you to date. They don't want you to have a girlfriend. If they did, buddy, it would be job one, to do everything that was necessary to get you a girlfriend. And it's not that complicated. Lose weight, exercise, Number one. That's what everyone should be doing. Even if your parents don't want to do it. They could say, hey, you know, we had our kids, we married, we let ourselves go, we got kind of flabby, but you are a young man, this is what you need to do. But they're not doing it. Why? It's not that complicated to figure out how to raise your sexual market value, right? They don't. They got you fat, they made you fat, they kept you fat, and they told you fat guys get girlfriends. They told you that year after year when it just didn't happen.
Oh, I'm out of everything,
That's
so.
the empirical evidence. I don't care about intentions. I don't care about words. I don't judge people. I don't care what they say. It's like judging a government program by its mission statement. I don't care. I care about empiricism. I care about the facts.
That needs to recharge.
How are your parents helping you succeed romantically? That is a very important job for parents. And this was well known throughout most of human history. That young people aren't very good at picking dates. So what do your parents do? Well, they take you to church and they introduce you to a nice girl and they'll suggest you do X, Y, and Z and they'll talk to you about things and they make sure that you are successful in the market of romance. They don't make you fat and tell you to wait.
Something that's kind of going off of that, I think what you're saying is pretty correct. I'm just kind of stepping back and try to take it in. Now that I realize it, I've kind of teased my mom about this, but whenever we're in public and she sees kind of like a unconventionally like attractive girl, like if she sees a girl who may be kind of short and overweight and she kind of has glasses or she's reading a book, she'll always say like, man, that's the type of girl I can see you dating. And I've always kind of been confused about that, but now that you kind of bring this up, I'm not really surprised.
Why do you think she would say that stuff?
Because I think she said it before. She's like, oh, all the girls you've ever been into are just like me. And to an extent, I think she's right. I mean, I've always...
What? Oh, what? All the girls? Wait, your mom said... Oh, man. Okay, sorry. I just have to shit Freud out of my armpit here. Your mom said to you, all the girls you've been interested in are just like me.
Yeah. Like, there was a girl that I was kind of...
Wait, no, I don't want details yet. When did she say this?
I think she's brought it up a few times since I was in, like, high school.
Nice as well.
Is it true, do you think?
I hate to say it, but I think she is right to an extent.
845 int 926.
Why, I'm sorry, I should not be laughing. I'm just...
No, I don't blame you at all.
Sometimes this show, like, I think I've got a handle on it, on these conversations, and suddenly it's just like, you know, have you ever seen that movie, the movie The Untouchables, where Robert De Niro takes out a baseball bat and clubs some guy to death at a table? Sometimes conversations are kind of like that in this show, and I'm just trying to pick my brain fragments off the floor and try and reassemble them in a coherent fashion. Okay.
And I've spent thousands upon thousands of shards.
So,
I can't get what I'm looking
she
for.
says that all the women you've ever been interested in are just like her, and you say that that's kind of true, and in what way is that true?
Well, I've never really been in, and this is even when I was a kid, I've never really been into kind of the, like, you know how the cheerleader, like the blonde ditzy cheerleader is kind of always put up on the pedestal as the most attractive girl.
Wait. Why does the blonde cheerleader have to be ditzy?
Well, I think it's just a stereotype, really. It's like that.
No, wait. No, that's your mom, baby. I was half talking to you, half talking to your balls, and then your mom came in and threw in the word ditzy. Why does the blonde cheerleader have to be ditzy?
I guess she doesn't.
So she's physically attractive, she's athletic, she's disciplined, she's hardworking, she's committed, she's bendy, right? Why does she also have to be ditzy?
That needs to recharge.
I think that's probably just a trait I've associated with that kind of group of people.
And have you associated that trait with that group of people as the result of empirical evidence or the result of prejudice coming from, say, proximate boobs?
Definitely prejudiced.
Okay, so where did the prejudice come from that attracted people are ditzy?
Well, I mean, I think attractive is kind of subjective. That was the point I was
No, it's
getting
not. No, it's not. No. People always say that, but it's not. They've done studies. Attractiveness is the same all over the world. It's very clear, and it all has to do with genetic fitness and evenness of features, regularity, and so on, right? It's not subjective at all. I mean, you never open up Cosmo, and there's a woman who's like modeling a bikini, and you say, well, Jesus, I've no idea why they chose her. You're like, there's no ad that Sadiq Khan won't ban on the London subway, beach ready body, where you say, wow, that doesn't look beach ready to me. Like, yeah, that looks pretty beach ready to me. I don't care if that's photoshopped or if that's a human being or some sort of Japanese sex robot. It definitely can understand why that person ended up in the ad. You ever go past a La Senza or La Vie en Rose and say, I have no idea why those girls' pictures or these women's pictures in the lingerie are in the window? That makes no, they're completely subjective. It's not subjective at all. It's not subjective at all. Now we're getting to the core of the propaganda, right? For you. Mm-hmm. They're ditzy, and it's all subjective anyway. You go to the hot or not composite image that merges all the faces that people rate very high, and you'll see the beauty standards are very objective and universal, not even particularly cultural. Mm-hmm. Have you ever looked at a K-pop band or a Japanese girl band and said, I have no idea why they chose those women? I guess maybe that's attractive to a Japanese guy, but I just don't see it, right?
Admittedly, I have, but I get what you're saying.
Huh. He has.
Yes, but right. There's no guy in an ad in Men's Health magazine where you say, I don't know, makes no sense why that guy's there. Mm-hmm. Right? I've got the kind of abs that make ticks seasick. Right? I mean, you know why they're there. So, and you know, I'm an attractive guy. When I was younger, I was the solid 9, and I'm not ditzy. So this idea, attractiveness equals ditzy. Come on. Sting's gorgeous.
Alright, I'll do one more.
Horrible socialist. But Sting's gorgeous. And he was a school teacher, well educated, right?
Yeah.
So,
you know,
go on.
Well, I think it's funny how, actually, now that I think about it, because my brother is, he's 3 years younger than me, and he has always been very skinny, and like, on that kind of 1 to 10 scale, I would give myself, like, a solid 5 or 6, and I would give him, honestly, like, an 8. He's a really good-looking guy, he's skinny, he's, really into drama, and it's funny because he's made a lot of friends with, like, the kind of quote-unquote popular kids, and my mom hates them. Like, with
sure
no evidence. She, like, then I've talked to her about it, she kind of immediately makes this assumption. Like, my brother had a girlfriend who was this really, really cute Asian girl, and my mom had never met her, and right off the bat she said, I don't like, there's just something about her. She just seems pretentious.
Was it your mom who said that attractiveness is subjective?
Yes.
Why do you think she said that to you?
Probably to steer me from the truth that fat guys really aren't on the top of the chain as far as attractiveness goes.
Yeah, to prevent you from panicking and to prevent you from implementing the kind of change that would have raised your sexual market value. Mm-hmm. Let's say that you lose even more weight, you become even more physically attractive, and you get a girlfriend, and your girlfriend listens to this show, she's strong, she's confident, she's very perceptive, and she's very intelligent, she sits down for lunch with your mom. How's that going to go?
She listens to this show, of course.
I think it would depend on the girl. I mean, it depends what type of girl, I should say.
Oh my god. You still don't get it. What is a strong, attractive, confident person that your mom has really liked that you know of?
I must wait.
Herself.
Ah.
Try again.
That needs to reach on.
As far as women, I really can't think of it. Other than like family, I really can't think of anyone. And her friends.
Wait, her friends
Yourself.
are strong, confident, attractive people?
Yes.
No. Sorry, I'm just gonna because you've given me so
Hello?
much talk already and so many parental excuses.
Welcome
Are
to
you
the end of the
saying
stream. This is my last run.
that your mom's friends are strong, confident, attractive women who have a lot in common with your mom?
I can think of maybe one, but no. Other than that, no.
Okay, so you've got to stop bullshitting me, man. I know you're not trying to. I'm not sort of holding you personally liable and dangling you over a lake of fire, although the thought has crossed my mind. But personality is destiny. Insecure, sun SMV destroying women aren't attractive or appealing to strong, confident, healthy women. A strong, confident, healthy woman would spend about 2 minutes with your mom and, well, I don't know. See, she wants to keep strong, confident women away from you because why?
They're a threat.
What are they? Okay, now we're getting someone. What's the threat to?
I think I think she's kind of scared of the fact
All right,
that
last attempt.
she might not be the primary female figure in my life
No,
one day. And that's a whole
failure.
other tangent, but that's kind of where I'm going. What I'm going with, I should say.
All right, so thank you for everyone who watched the live stream. I'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. or thereabouts. Goodbye.